He said, "Do you know the difference between a ukulele and an onion?" I said, "No, Dad. What could it be?" He said, "Well, son, nobody cries when you chop up a ukulele." There you are.
All right.
Well, welcome to the clown room.
Hi, everybody. Welcome
And
to
I'm not the one with the red hair. This is the main part.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the National At-Home Dad Network's At-Home Dad Network's webinar series. I am here today with Dave Bartlett, otherwise known as Mr. Rainbow. Dave not only is an amazing clown, he is also my neighbor and a good friend of mine. Dave has been clowning since 1981, and he's here to teach us a little bit about doing balloon creations. One of the more impressive accomplishments is in 2008, the European Ballooning Community awarded David the community's Lifetime Achievement Award at the Millennium Jam in, am I saying this right?
Mall, Belgium.
Mall, Belgium. So without further ado, I'm going to turn this over to David and let him take it away because he's much more entertaining than I am.
For my bona fides, I was the head judge of the Millennium Jam on balloons. So, and by the way, I used to do CDs of balloons, and before this, there was 19 VHS. Yes, folks, I go back to the VHS era. So I am so old, but I'm holding it well. Okay, anyway, interesting thing about balloons. Don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. Here's the story that always gets me is somebody asked me one time, there was a ballooner doing something, and it's a lady who I knew. She goes, "Have you ever seen him at the ballpark doing balloons?" And yeah, I have. And he's a rather, beginner, kind of middling ballooner. And I said, "Yes." And she said, "Isn't he fantastic?" Listen to self. You don't have to be a great ballooner to be amazing to most people. And the other thing about that, I'm going to take it out of another thing, is if this were a ukulele class, I could teach you 3 chords which would get you 500 songs. No kidding. Those 3 chords, and you could do 500 songs. They used to say about country music, it's just 3 chords and the truth. So I'm going to get you with the most important things. I'm not going to really, since you guys can watch this over and over again and then take it on, I'm just going to get the most important things. And this is the part, let me see. Matt, please don't fall off your chair. I organized myself. Okay, yeah. Matt's going, "Oh my God."
I am shocked. I am shocked, I tell you.
I'm kind of shocked myself because I'm usually off the cuff, whatever kind of person. So let's get to the balloons. What kind of balloons for balloon animals? They're called 260. They get that name because when you blow them up all the way, it should be about 60 inches and 2 inches in diameter. Never bet the farm on that. Okay? That's just general. Just one will go longer, one will go shorter. There's total ways to manipulate the size of it and everything, but that's just generally 260s. I looked through it today, and I looked through a bunch of places. You don't want to buy cheap ones. You do not want to buy the El Cheapo easy balloon animal things from your general store. No, those are too thin, too weak. They're going to pop on you each and every time you try to do something. So the 260, I looked up, and the 3 most used at balloon jams these days are Qualitex, which is what I think. And I put Qualitex on your Matt, if I'm correct. I sent you a Qualitex link via
Text messenger,
who owns that?
Amazon.
Who owns everything? Amazon. Yes, who owns
Yeah.
everything? Okay. There's also Belitech. They had two different spellings, and that's also from the U.S. and that's Belitech, something like. You'll run into that. And then there's one from Europe called that's evidently doing GEMAR, GEMAR. And those are the three kinds I would trust. Expect to pay you expect to buy them in bags of 100 or 250. Yes, you're going to want them, that many. That works out to about 6 to 10 cents per balloon. I swear, stay away from the here, take this home for your kid thing. No. They'll also give you, in those cheap ones, they'll give you a little pump about that big, and some of them might actually be a hand pump where you pump it. Unless you really want to work out your forearms, you don't want to do that. So that's the kind of balloons, 260s. You can tell the Qualitex because they always call theirs 260Q. And I've been using Qualitex for 20-some years now. Avoid the easy kits. Get yourself a pump. Now, this is the kind of pump that blows, you can feel it blowing out at you. There's a word for that, which escapes me. An engineer can tell you it blows out air, both coming out, going in. That'll save you a lot of time. You can try to blow them up. I blow them up by mouth, but I wouldn't recommend it because these are strong balloons, and there's a good possibility you're going to hurt yourself. I was doing a mall one time, and here came this huge basketball player. He was a star over at Carolina. I live in North Carolina. And I said, here, go blow that. And he went, woo, woo, woo. And his veins were just coming up, and his head's turning red. And I'm thinking, oh, my God, the papers are going to say I killed an All-American basketball player. Give me that thing back. So get a pump. That's very important. Now, how do you blow it up? Well, you put the air on the inside, but there's a trick to it. I used to teach classes at, I used to call techniques, tips, and tricks of the trade at balloon festivals and things. And this would be a class not for beginners, but for people who are already taking a beginner class, had a little bit under their belt, but were having terrible trouble technique-wise. And so I created this lecture. I called techniques, tips, and tricks of the trade. And the one constant every time I taught this, somebody wanted to know how to tie the balloon. They were having terrible trouble tying the balloon because somebody said, get a pump and blow it up. Well, there's little tricks of the trade afterwards. They put the little lips over the hair for blowing it up. Okay, I don't think you need to see anything close. And then you just blow it up. I'm going to not so much. And then slide it off and hold it. However, when you pulled it off, you have very little to tie. So everybody's having a really hard time tying the balloon. I said, I can fix that. I said, okay, before you try to tie it, make a bubble. Let go. Now you have that much to tie. And that's not a problem. Okay? You wrap it around 2 fingers, I recommend. You can see I wrapped it around 2 fingers. And then coming up the bottom side, you'll see there's a ridge, that ridge between those 2 fingers right there. With the end of the balloon down the ridge and hold the lip and just pull your fingers out. At that point, do not tighten it up. That's enough. You're going to need that to be kind of loose doing later things, which I'll show you about. So just wrap it around your finger, go up that ridge with the lip, and just pull your fingers out, and there it will be. Now you've got it. So that's the trick, and people get so excited. They just want to, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm here for. So do not tighten it. Okay. Part 3. Now we get to the really important part, twisting the balloon. There's a still hand and a twisting hand. It doesn't matter which is which, but there's a still hand and a twisting hand. I, strangely enough, I'm an oddball, you would think that I would use my dominant hand as my twisting hand. No. For some reason, it feels more comfortable to me to put my right hand as the still hand and then my left hand to be the twisting hand. Twisting the balloon. Find a spot where you want to twist it. Just put a little pressure right there, just a tiny bit of pressure. And then take your twisting hand and turn it. Here's the second part. Which way do you turn it? It doesn't matter as long as you always twist the same direction. So you get into this habit of which way do I twist away from me. I know people who always twist toward them. It doesn't matter as long as you never switch directions. If you find one way doesn't work for you, fine. Try the other way. If you find this is the way, your right hand is the better one to twist, do that. It's all correct. Just as long as you have one still hand, one twisting hand, and you always twist in the exact same directions. I twist towards me. Little bubble and twist. And I try to use as little of my wrist as possible because I know a lot of people who have bad technique and they're always doing this. And guess what they have now? Carpal tunnel. And nope, never had a problem with it. With my elbow, that's a whole nother matter. But then you just twist it. And you want to twist it 5, 6 times. So there you are. Next thing to know, if you let that's the twist. This is the bubble, and this is the twist. If you let the twist go, it's going to unravel on you. And you do that enough times, and the balloon's going to pop. Okay? So wait a minute, I got to do more. All you have to do is control that twist. I do it usually by sticking it in my still hand between my last 2 fingers. And now that's controlled. From here on in, all you have to control is the next twist. But if you get 6 twists down the line, all you have to do is control the first twist and the 6th twist, as long as you twist, like you turn it 6 or 7 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And now this is hand. This part of the hand is holding the first one. This part of the hand is holding the new one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And this is the exercise I highly recommend you do before you get started every day. It gets your hands flexible. You're doing the things you should. And it's just like doing scales on a piano. You know, it can be dull if you want, or it's teaching you more than you know. Okay, now these are all about 1 inch long, and I'm controlling the first one, I am controlling the last one, and all the rest of them are staying there beautifully. It's a string of pearls. It's a worm. It's whatever. Now, let's say you're tired of holding those out. You know, have you ever a loaf of bread sometimes now they have those plastic things. But remember when they used to have little wires that you had to untwist and twist and twist? Okay, that's what you have to do. Now you have a regular twist, and you finally complete things with a lock twist. You take the first one. You take the last one. You put them side by side. And now you have two hands holding one spot. But that's enough. You can switch to one hand holding both of them. At which time you turn that around like you're reclosing the thread. And there you have, and that's going to stay. Now, you can do a Steve Martin joke. It's a DNA. It's a whatever. Doesn't matter. Just if they laugh, that's good. It could be, could end up being antlers on a deer. If you put it again down here. Another lock twist. There's all kinds of things you can do with these. I'm going to come back later to this to show you another twist that you do with this. But when I teach beginners, I talk to them. This is always. I had a beginning video, and the guy who was selling them worldwide, he also had a beginner's video. And it was amazing that his blurb about mine said that if you had any doubt whatsoever about your abilities to do balloons, look at his video. He's like, it's because I swear it's because I do this as a starter. It's a starter. Most people tell you how to do a dog first. Okay, fine. But when I teach them this, in the way that I just told you, just take it, do it again, one, hold it, music going on, and then what I will do is just, because I still do this as an exercise, and I will try to make all the balloons exactly the same size. And then sometimes I'll see how many can I get, meaning I got to start with less in the balloon and get 30 bubbles if I can. Just
quick interruption there, Dave. Is there any way that you can tilt the camera so that it's a little lower or hold your hands up a little higher? Perfect. Thank you. Much better. We were losing a little bit there. Thanks.
Yeah, I'm bringing my hands down. I'm just okay. What was I going? Now you know what was I going to do? Okay. Okay. Oh, I was going to tell you.
All the balloons are the same size.
All this. I've seen other people teach beginner classes, and when they ask people to do, they tell them how to make a balloon. But then they'll say for a teddy bear where you have to make 5 in a row, and people lose their minds. 5? I can't do 5. I can barely do 2. I can barely do 3. And I always go back and say, I remember, now we're going to do a teddy bear, which takes 5 at the beginning. I can't do. Well, hell, you just did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Look at your feet. There you go. I told you to throw it away. Now just hold it. You've already done 13 in a row. You will never have to do 13 in a row. 5, an amazing thing. And then you want to see what happens. You let go. There you go. Just, it's a goner. Still hand, twist hand away towards. Always twist the same way. One hand still, one hand twists. And try to keep away from doing your wrists. Okay. I'm going to do the second one now. Must control the wrist. Oh, goodness gracious. I'm going to take... Oh, by the way, how much do you blow up a balloon? That's a difficult question because it always depends on what you're trying to make. If you're going to make a small balloon, you blow it up about like this much. A little longer. Sometimes if you're going to make a sword, because there's very few twists, you're going to blow it up all the damn way, practically. Okay. But then start practicing this. Different sizes of the balloons. This is all the same size, but I'm trying to build you up to, before we stop, a poodle. And that is this will be the first lot, up to the first, this is the beginning, second, third, fourth, fifth, lock twist. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, lock twist. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, lock twist, and the rest is just the tail. It's the only difference between this and doing this is I have mixed the sizes of the bubbles so that the feet would be differentiated from the legs. Okay, let's try this with everything being about 3 inches. Okay? 1, and I told you I go towards myself. 2, and I'm holding this right here to control it. And now I'm also turning this down to control it. There's many ways to control that twist. And that's another way, is to hold it all in one hand. There we go. Now I've got 1, 2, 3, but they're all about 3 inches long. Now let's take the first one and the last one and lock this one together. Okay. Now let's pretend that's not there. This is an exercise. Pretend that's not there because it's not wasting a balloon. Well, I've done that. Let's try it again. No. You got more on this balloon. Unless you got money to burn. I am so cheap. I use broken balloons all the time. Oh, it's great. So let's do it. I'm saying about 3 inches. 1, 2, and I'm really trying to make them the same size. Okay, now I've got this one locked in right there, and if I'm holding it like this, I'm also making sure I have complete control of that twist. There you go. Now I've got 1, 2, 3. Let's do it again. I have, and there's enough. Why not? Let's just do it again. 1, 2. Oh, and another way, sometimes if I'm doing something a little difficult, I'll put it up against my body and hold it like that to make sure the twist is totally under my control. Don't have to do it for this one. I can do it. Okay, there we go. 1, 2, 3, roughly the same size. Take the first twist, take the last twist, lock twist them together, and there's not enough room to do it on the end. So I can't do another one, but that's not the point. The point is now, that becomes the head, that becomes the front feet, that becomes the bottom feet. And honest to God, you do this and people lose their minds. Oh, you made a doggy! Oh! Yeah, the guy at the ballpark. He makes good doggies. But I didn't want to say anything bad about it because if they were happy, by golly, but I have learned. When people say, you make the most amazing balloons, I say, do you get out much? And then they go, well, no. Because me personally, I have trouble taking compliments. Now, if you want to mess with this a little bit, okay? Well, you can pinch off the end of the tail, so the air cannot go anywhere else. Pinch it off, and then just squeeze it over your thumb, and that'll give your tail a little bit of a stylish jaunt for the tail. Okay. Remember when I said don't tie when you tie it, don't wring it tight. Don't make it a tight knot. Don't make it a tight knot. I'll try to remember that. Now here's what I'm going to come close. Can you see? Okay, that's up against the door. There we go. If you look at the front, there is the lip right there, and then below the lip, between where it started coming out and the lip, there's the knot. Take your fingertip and just grab the bottom part of the knot, and then just roll it away from the balloon toward the lip. Okay, what that has done is that's made this softer, and there's more room for that sucker to expand. Because what I like to do, because, well, if you look at it, so you might want a dog that has kind of there's a shape, more of a shapely face. But I like to do that, twist that in half, and push it through the middle of the ears. So you have a different look on the dog. So you have the ears coming from the top of the head of the dog, as opposed to going straight up. Because most dogs, really, you think their ears kind of tend to go down. So am I in shot there, Matt? Okay.
Yeah, we got you.
Okay, there we go. So that's one way of using the knot, but you can only do that if it's not tied tightly. Okay. Now, let's see what else I have here. Okay, I'll show you how this works. Oh, excuse me. I'll show you the poodle now. I told you I was going to build you up towards the poodle. Real simple. We're going to do everything. Remember how everything was about 3 inches? Let's cut that in half, about 1.5 inches. We're going to need a face, back, side, top, side. 5. Face, back, side, they're all the same size. Top. Okay, now in order to get that one, I'm going to have to go there. And then side. There we are. Face, back of the head, side, top, side. So I got to take the second twist and the final twist for the side, top, side, and then lock that. At this point, if you let this go, that's fine, because it's already twisted enough to where it has exactly the right give to it. Now I just reclaim that and push it right through there to the other side. It helps if you have your other fingers like this, kind of rolling it back as you're pushing something this way. You're rolling it back too. Matt's going like this because that's how he makes bread. True.
No,
There are
I don't make bread anymore.
Well, but that's right. Okay. He charcuteries the meat
There you
by
go.
putting it through. Charcutes. Okay, here I'm going to push it. I'm going to push that with my thumb. I'm going to pull back, and it just pops out like having a baby. I'm having my baby. Yes, it's a cesarean. Okay, so now we have the poodle. Now I'm going to make, about the same size neck. There's going to be 5. Neck, top of the leg, foot, top of the leg. 5. 1, 2, but the foot has to be small. So now, if you notice, I'm controlling these with one hand right here. Okay, it's fitting right in there. I'm going to have to make a smaller one. Well, remember how I said You size it by putting some pressure. Okay. Hold your hand back so the air cannot escape. So the air cannot escape, and push a little reverse pressure on it. At that point, because it can't escape, you can make a little bubble. I'm going to make it once again. If I tried to make that without the reverse pressure, it just wouldn't work. You got to force the pressure in there. And now, here. So there you have the front of the poodle. The poodle legs and the poodle feet, just smaller to differentiate. That's all you want to do. And now I'm going to go for the body and the back legs. Body, top, foot, top of the leg. 5 again. Remember the other dog was just 3 times. This is 5. Okay. 1, 2. The foot. A little pressure on the back. Don't let it escape. Here we are. Got it there. And this one I control all of them by putting them together. Okay. Now. One other little trick of the trade. Deep breath. There you go. Maybe someday I'll show you how to do that. You do this. There you go. Okay, here's another thing that I kind of haven't touched with balloons. Drawing faces. I was originally taught so many years ago at a class I didn't want to go to. By the way, my wife wanted me to tell you this. How appropriate. I started doing balloons when I was at home with a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old, and I didn't have a job. Okay. Well, I had a job. I had the 1-year-old and the 3-year-old, but I did not have a traditional job.
Our crowd gets that very, very well.
Okay, a traditional job. But that's when I started doing this, and then my wife signed me up for a class on how to do this. And I thought that was the stupidest thing she'd ever done. I told her so. I was that into it. I tried to cancel out and get my money back. No. So then I just gritted my teeth and went. And now I have God knows how many videos and how many DVDs, and I've been worldwide with balloons. I have apologized since. Yeah, she's responsible for all this. She's an enabler. Okay, but one thing I learned from my audiences is that the guy who taught me, he was very artiste about it. He said, I never put any markings on the balloon. It stands for what it is. And I thought, oh, that is so cool. And I tried that. And the kids just kind of, And I said, okay. And then they go somewhere and find a pencil and then try to draw eyes on theirs with a sharp pencil. Pop! Just pop, pen, pop. So I thought, what am I doing this for? Am I doing it for them or am I doing it for me? So I decided I would start drawing. But then I took a cartoon class. One class leads to another. I took a cartooning class. And all I wanted to do was learn how to draw just the easiest eyes and mouths and little tiny bits of faces. And fortunately, that was the first night of the class. I never went to the other nights because I got what I wanted. And people say to me all the time, "Oh, you do such wonderful eyes." I go, it's just the tiniest little things make the tiniest bit of difference. Yeah. So now I will do the eyes. And they're much happier. Where's the eyes? They'll put the eyes on a sword. I mean, an airplane. Put the eyes on it. Eyes on an airplane? Well, Disney's airplanes have eyes, don't they? Disney's cars have eyes. Everything has eyes. So it's a battle that I surrendered on gratefully. So there. But do you see how what I've done so far leads you to this? Okay. Now I'm going to lead you down another path, which goes back to the future.
We need a DeLorean?
Bum, 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 bum. Somebody laugh, please.
Go ahead.
Remember when I did this as an exercise? Fine. Here's another exercise to do with this. Is you take one bubble. Just look at that one bubble. There's the knot is tied. It's twisted on two sides. See if you can get your fingers around where the twist is, and your thumb around right where the twist is. Right there? Pull those other ones kind of away. Pull the ones side to side or kind of down, and then just twist that. And if you look, it gives you a whole different look of a twist. It's not round anymore. It's kind of flat. This is called two things. It's called an ear twist because it's basically, people say put an ear twist because on your teddy bear, that's an ear. You have two of those. Or on your cat or on some other things. That's a smaller ear. Some people call it a pinch twist because they think this action of bringing the other side down to get away and then bringing it up and twisting it is kind of a pinch move. So they call it a pinch twist. I'm sure somebody calls it something else. But what I will do is I will just keep doing the pinch twists on these ones where I have all the bubbles in the bubbles just as practice. This comes in handy for so many things. Let me show you one. Do not do that. Do not do that. I'm telling you right now, don't do it. Get a pump.
I can vouch, Dave. You have much more hot air than most of us.
And I say that with pride. You can be proud of it. You can be proud of anything, can't you? Okay. So I'm going to take, I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I'm going to take about a 5-inch thing. There you are. And then I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. But one of them is big. Push this. Probably too big. Okay. So now I'm going to do one slightly bigger than this. 1, 2. There we go. Right back. Then I'm going to have one that's slightly bigger than these two. And remember how I pushed the head of the doggy through? Now I'm going to push this part through the middle there using the same technique, although I'm going to hold it right here. I'm going to hold it right there because I have to control that twist. A little bit. Have to control the twist. Once I can get it through there, I can let it go because it is controlled by the pressure of the other one. So push with your thumbs, pull back, with the other, and there it goes. Okay. I did something wrong. But now you get to, okay, now you get to why I decided to use this thing. Okay, there we go. I used to watch people make a dinosaur like this. They would make a dinosaur kind of look like that. Okay. I've never really associated dinosaurs with spread legs running. Shouldn't they be kind of like this? So then I decided, don't do that, don't do that. Okay, there's one. I need that neck to go straight up. Well, there is one twist that holds things straight up. The pinch twist. Look at what the pinch twist does. It changes that like a whole 90 degree. That's cool. It really holds that up. Now I'm going to make the legs. I just did a shortcut. Did you notice? You didn't notice the shortcut. Okay. Instead of making that bubble and then making that bubble and then locking them off, I just made that bubble and then never twisted this one off, but it locks it off when I twist it. That's just when you learn how to get fast. Okay, now I'm going to 1, 2, just did it again. Here. I'm going to repeat myself. Okay, go. Get through there, get through there, get through there, get through there. And now look what happens. That pinch twist is holding the legs straight down as opposed to splayed out. But here's where the genius comes in, and I do not mind using that term. This is why I was selected in 2008. Stuff like this. I keep track of the bigger one going through and coming to the back of here. That means that it's not tied around any other part. It can float free. Watch this. I gotta do this. That could float all the way down there if I wanted, because it's not tied there. So I'll just get right to that point. Now I make the back legs, and this one I absolutely do tie off. Okay, there we go. Editing. By the way.
Good to know it happens to the professionals too.
Oh, it always happens when you're trying to explain something. Now I'll do it at speed. The other thing is, I haven't used these balloons for a year. A year!
Oh.
They're not supposed to be unused for a year. Okay, to speed. And I guarantee you he is not speeding up the film. Because he doesn't know how to do that.
No.
Okay. Now here where we are. Where was it? Where is it? No. There it is. And I push that underneath. And now I told you that floated underneath. So I put the legs nice and underneath the body, which has the added advantage of forcing the tail to go out. And then you give it that old Sinclair oil look for there. And except for one thing, this is just going up. You see, it's just going up. It needs to have a head. See if there's a technique to extend this a little bit and make it pliable. Oh, wait a minute. Let me find that knot. And pull the knot tight. And before I let it go, I'm going to push it around my thumb. And now I'm going to squeeze the neck. And it pops over my thumb. And there you have a really nice looking dinosaur.
Will point out, my 3-year-old was blown away. Patrick lost it when you showed him that dinosaur.
Yesterday?
Yeah.
This is, and once again, go back to everything I taught you right now. Yeah, you got that. Yes, you can see how that pushes through. Taught that. 2 things. Make sure this is the part that may not make sure that when you push the back through, that the legs come down directly below that. Because if it turns the other way, then you're not going to be able to push these legs in. So now, so I've taught you 3 kinds of twists, I think, or 2 or 3, and the dogs, the poodles, that'll get you out of a lot of trouble if you can just do these. But here's some other ones that will definitely help out.
I would say, I know you know my children. They're rather active and certainly slightly destructive. I know my kids would love to know the sword.
The sword, that's what we're getting to.
Oh, sweet.
Okay. Loop twist. There's an easier way to do a dog. You just twist it over. Go halfway. Okay, so there's about 6 inches on each side, 4 to 6 inches on each side. Here's the key. This is my still hand. This is my twisting hand. You make a little dent there, and you're going to twist the whole loop. All you've done is just take the thing, put it over there, right there. Here's where people make mistakes. They grab this and feel like they have to squeeze it while they're turning. No. Because this is, there's a room there. This is completely open-ended. This is closed, but that's open. And if you squeeze with this hand, that air is going to shoot out to the other end of the balloon. So you just make a little one, and then make sure there is no pressure on there going this way, just twisting it that way. The twist goes with no pressure. Then you go right back to the beginning, get right there to that spot. Make another loop. Squeeze a little bit. No pressure from the hand. And here is the sword. Whenever I give these out, if a child asks for a sword, yeah, you can be one that says, I don't give weapons to them. Okay. If I gave them a dog, the first thing they do is whack each other with it. If what they really wanted was a sword. There's Matt, because that's I don't want them to have that weapon. Okay, fine. But I always give them 2. I make 2. And then I give the parent one first and say, protect me. And that way they have somebody to battle with right away. Also gives them an extra one when one of them pops. And one of them will pop. They will always pop. And that's just 2 loops. 2 loops and a handle. And now, let's do another thing with Another thing with a loop. Okay. Once again, this one I blew almost all the way up. As I said, okay, I'm going to make a body. It's going to be a hummingbird. I'm going to make a body. Not so big. Hummingbirds aren't associated as having big bodies. Then I go all the way to the end. Gotta control that. Gotta control it. Go all the way to the end. That's interesting. I used my right hand to twist that. Not consistent. So I've got the head and the body. Lock them on. Leaves me one wing. Unless I go right in the middle of that wing. Go to the bottom of that wing and twist it off. And you have a hummingbird.
Nice.
Of course, then again, if you make this one smaller and this one larger, you have a bumblebee. Oh, I forgot to say, that very simple dog. Remember that I told you the dog? Okay, let's make I'll go 1, 2, 3, like that. Yep, I had them bigger last time. Then you go down here. 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3. It's just the same as the dog. Like if this is a dog, you might have a dachshund doggy, but if you put those down like this, you have a giraffe. I love to take credit for stuff like that. That's amazing. Thank you. And what's the? Let me see. And one final thing I wanted to make sure and get before you left, because I only got 5 minutes left. That's a different kind. Okay. Make a tiny loop. And then twist off the other end and use that blow up part to tie it. Now, see if you can get another tiny loop, or tiny bubble, loop. Tiny loop about the same. Then another tiny loop about the same. And then another tiny loop. And then another tiny loop. And then another tiny loop.
Get up again.
Back up.
There you go.
How many loops do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Then you want to get a scissors and cut the other part off. I'm old school, but you want to get scissors. Okay, there you go. Where did I put? Okay, fine. I'll use this. Used all my green. Okay. Now, I'm going to take a bubble, two bubbles, and then a third bubble. But instead of locking anything off, actually, I'm going to take that third bubble and immediately make the pinch twist, which locks it off. And now I have this. I'm going to let it go. because what I wanted was make sure that that's pliable enough to do something with it. So then I go down, make another loop, make another loop. Here, go back and divide that in half again, which will be fine because I know it's not tight because I made it that way. And then tie that through the middle of this. And then I gotta see what I'm doing. And then a flower.
Or knowing my children, a mace.
Okay, and if you want to, you can push that up so that the and that was just simply a matter of moving these up and the friction between those balloons and that balloon will hold that in place. So that should get you guys started if that floats your boat. And just be prepared to say, "You're welcome."
Oh.
You know, how do you do that? That's the most amazing thing, isn't it? Just find a good answer.
To everybody out there watching, now is the time. If you do have any questions for David, you can type them on our feed in Facebook or regardless. And please remember that this, like all of our other webinars for the National At-Home Dad Network, will be posted on our YouTube page. They are available forever for free.
In perpetuity.
Please.
Yes.
Yeah. They're out there for you guys to review at your own leisure. Please promote them to your friends and the rest of it. This is just something that we do.
Even as I get getting older, this will remain. I'm as young as I ever will be again.
Well, David, thank you so much for coming and doing this for us. This is great. For a lot of us that are stuck at home with the kids in the midst of pandemics and lockdowns and with summer vacation coming.
I was stuck with a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old, and I had no intention of buying more balloons, but they liked it. And then let's go on with the story. They liked it, so I went and bought some more, and then I went and bought some more, and I started making them up because I wasn't going to buy a book because I didn't even want to be there in that class. So then the guy who was selling me the balloons asked my name. And he says, "You make your own up?" I go, "Yeah." I showed it to him. The next thing you know, I'm getting calls from people who called his store. And I went, "There's money in this? Really?" Your turn.
I was going to say, we actually refer to guys like you in the stay-at-home dad community. We talk about you guys as being trailblazers. There's a lot more stay-at-home dads now than there were when your kids were young. So, you know, we appreciate what you guys did. Luckily for us now, we've got the network and the other things that we have available to us now that might not have been back then. And luckily, we don't have to sit through that class like you did. Well, look,
you can do it at your own time. There.
On behalf of the National At-Home Dad Network, I want to thank you for coming out. I want to thank everybody who's watching this live and also to all the people who are going to be watching this on our Facebook page. Please stay tuned.
Are they there?
We're announcing our webinar for April coming up in the coming week, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Now, David, I'm going to ask, can you play us out with a little bit more ukulele?
A little ukulele, okay. Okay. Peter, pumpkin eater, had a wife, he couldn't keep her. Put her in a pumpkin shell and there he kept her. Very well. You know, somebody should call 911 if you ask me, because that ain't right. Jack and Jill, they went up a hill, fetch a pail of water. Jack came down with a broken crown, and Jill came a-tumbling after. They went for water. That's what they said, but that ain't right.